everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. Today I'm going to be speaking about a passage from Isaiah, chapter 66, verses 18 through 21. This passage, to just give some historical context, was written near the end of the exile period, where Israel was deeply discouraged. They had returned from Babylon to find Jerusalem in ruins, their temples destroyed. At that time, the Jewish people thought of themselves as God's chosen nation, and they struggled with the idea that any outsiders also belonged to God's plan. But here, Isaiah's prophecies provided something radical. God's salvation will extend beyond Israel to all nations and languages. This passage points ahead to the coming of Jesus and foretold the Pentecost, where people from every nation could hear the good news in their own language. Let's listen. Thus says the Lord, I know their works and their thoughts, and I come to gather nations of every language. They shall come and see my glory. I will set a sign among them. For them I will send fugitives to the nations, to Tarshish, Put, and Lud, Masak, Tubal, and Javan, to the distant coastlines, that they have never heard of my fame or seen my glory, that they shall proclaim my glory among the nations. They shall bring all your brothers and sisters from all the nations as an offering to the Lord, on horses and in chariots, in carts, upon mules and dromedaries, to Jerusalem, my holy mountain, says the Lord. Just as the Israelites bring their offering to the house of the Lord in clean vessels, some of these I will take as priests and as Levites, says the Lord. So we live in a world where division is everywhere, in culture, in politics, even in faith traditions. And Isaiah's vision reminds us that God's kingdom is not exclusive. He's still gathering people from every background to himself. So the question for us today is, are we living in a way that reflects God's wide embrace? Are we messengers of his love, or are we building walls of division? God's kingdom is bigger than any of us. It's open and eternal. So I hope this message encourages you to be faithful messengers of the good news that we live and speak in love. So journal prompts for this passage would be, how does it challenge me to think of God's kingdom to include all nations, cultures, and people? And where in my life do I need to tear down walls of division and reflect God's wide embrace? And then finally, how can I be a messenger of God's love in my family, community, and workplace? I hope this message encouraged you, and if you feel like a friend might use some encouragement, please feel free to share it along, and don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's Whispers.